All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from around the world, good afternoon, good evening, good morning. We are here today. We're talking to one of the fellas that we are putting together out here. His name is Dr. Obari Cartman. Can I get a round of applause for Dr. Obari Cartman, please, ladies and gentlemen? One of the things that we like to do is to talk a little bit about some of the things that are going on, not just in our community, but all over the world. And Dr. Obari is calling us straight out of the Chi, calling us from Chi-Town to give us a little bit of information about how they are viewing some of the issues that are going on in the community and how we can, maybe learn something from what they got going on, or maybe they can instill some things in us to keep us going. So, Dr. Obari, can you give a little bit about yourself before we dive into some of this subject matter?
Yes, sir, for sure. And thanks for the invitation and allowing me to share space with y'all out there on the East Coast. It's always good to meet other folks who are out here in the world doing work for our people. So grateful for the opportunity. I I'm born and raised in Chicago. Been out here my whole life. I left here just to go to school. I went to Hampton out in Virginia, and then I went to Atlanta for graduate school, PhD, clinical community psychology, and then I was in Connecticut for a little bit. So I spent some time doing an internship in your area. And I would
Okay.
come to Boston every once in a while, just take a little mega bus up there. Um, man, it felt. I don't know. I remember when I was there the very first time. Just there was a presence of I don't know. I wouldn't even call it racism, or just a unwantedness that I felt in Boston that I hadn't felt anywhere else that I've been in the country. Um, so I know there's brothers out here, brothers and sisters out there working on issues. I think y'all in the Worcester area.
Yeah.
I've just recently been able to connect with some other people out in Massachusetts with a curriculum, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. But in general, my background is psychology. I do a lot of work around mental health of Black men and boys. I had a book I wrote about 10 years ago while I was in Connecticut. That's when I started it. And it turned into a curriculum, hip hop based wellness curriculum, where we do sort of rites of passage kind of work. We use the music and lyrics and multimedia clips and TikTok videos, just stuff to get the young people engaged, to guide them through a process of conversations about developing principles around manhood, having developing critical analysis of media, developing critical thinking skills in general. We focus a lot on literacy, on emotional intelligence, understand what happened to us as a people and how we happened back. So we talk about like resilience and resistance movements throughout history. So I got this curriculum that is for about 2 years ago. Somebody from Massachusetts asked me to come out and see if what we're doing in Chicago would fit some of the population that they're working with out in Massachusetts. So for the first time, I've started to do trainer models out in the area. We did train out in Worcester actually, so developing some facilitators out there. And right now, the biggest contract is with the DYS out there. So it's in a couple different juvenile detention centers out in your area. I didn't think that they was gonna let it fly because it's real, right? It's real like provocative. You know what I mean? Because it was
The
developed with.
curriculum is provocative, meaning that it may touch or somebody might feel something that make them uncomfortable. Provocative, or like, is it an energy that you know what I mean? That sometimes you got to release some stuff, and that kind of makes people uneasy.
It's not that I don't mind the uneasiness. Um, I do deal with you know politics, with economics, with systemic oppression, with the traumas that have been inflicted over generations at the hands of a adversary, for the most part, the wealthy elite European. We break down systems, and my understanding of this is even before people got real sensitive about the DEI and the language and started tiptoeing around talking blackness boldly. Um, and so I didn't think that the state would pay for me to have some of these conversations. That was my first initial react because I came in Chicago. Everything my world is real black. Like I only like work for the academy. I don't work for organizations. I just stay real grassroots, real community based. And when I say black in Chicago, it's a very unique, like rigid black. It's just Alabama, Mississippi black.
Hmm.
Out in Boston and Massachusetts, y'all got a wider range of diaspora, the Cape
Yeah,
Verdeans and the
you go
Caribbeans and all
Cape Verde
that,
to Haitians
Haitians,
to
right?
Jamaicans to
Everybody mix and mingle in a way that in Chicago things are real segregated. So we got some of them pockets of people, but they in their own little world. And so in the prisons here in Chicago, it's just mostly black descendants of Africans. Great migration black. We don't really deal with a lot of the international black here in Chicago, and so it was some of those things that I didn't think was going to translate in Massachusetts. But they've been rocking with it, man. They say it's been very successful in the prisons there. So much so that they just recently created a job for some of the young people who are incarcerated to be facilitators of that curriculum because they graduated from it twice. So there's a young man I've been working with to help run it, and himself as a young black man while he's still doing his time. So some of the provocative stuff that we deal with is just calling systems for what they are, talking about the role of incarceration as a part of the oppression that we've experienced as a modern day expression of enslavement. We talk about reparations. We're talking about just just stuff that I didn't think the public health department would endorse. Um, but what I've appreciated though is that and before we even signed any contracts out in Massachusetts, I was kind of like, y'all got to see this curriculum first. Like, I know y'all hear hip hop, y'all might think y'all think what it is, but I need to show y'all this piece every step of the way, so nobody will get no surprises. And every time I was having meetings, we was on Zoom for a while, and they'll bring some new higher white person into the room, and I was like, okay, this gonna be the day. They ain't finna let this ride. I ain't finna let no black dude from Chicago come do this with their boys. But I think there's an openness that I don't know if it's unique to y'all state, but there's some white people that just know that we need to go deep into these conversations and talk about the real traumas and talk about the historical context that have contributed to them. And so they just give us the real, like just go right to it, and we'll support you. And they have continued to support this curriculum. So that was how I was on that call.
because
Kind of
that
like
was
the
what I
connect with
was
people.
wondering because you're from
Yeah,
Chicago and this trauma Tuesday call that they have with the people of usually of Worcester. And then
yeah,
to see you on that call, I was like, well, let me at least try to at least reach out to see what you guys are doing over there versus over
yeah.
here, and then to hear
No,
that
they mix. What we doing
you're
over there
already
is out
getting
here too.
plan-
Yeah.
you're
Yeah,
already
we all
planning
working
to meet.
together. So, yeah, there's a bridge. So that's why I was looking forward to, what I'm saying, talking with you and getting to know some other folk out in the area who, I'm saying, who doing work and what
Yeah,
might could do some collaborations on
one of the
this.
things we do is it might be along the lines of the hip hop health summit where we use hip hop to talk about how hip hop affects the opioid use, and
Nice. Yeah.
they're looking to get traction with that as well. So some of the things that we did with Amy, we have a comedy workshop that we use that is called Show Me the Funny, 16 and 24 year
Mm,
olds and adults 55 and over, where we talk about outcomes of self-esteem, public speaking, building communal relationships, and they all learn history of comedy. They learn Joan Rivers, Richard Pryor, Mons
hmm.
Mabley, Cheech and
Yeah.
Chong. They learn how to set up a joke, tell a joke, um,
Nice.
use the mic as a prop. All of the technical pieces that the instructor artists use to help the class, because we start off
Hmm. Hmm.
on this comedy class and somebody wants to tell a story, or somebody they don't think they funny but they want to say something and they might read something and
Hmm.
make up their own stuff. So we allow that all of that stuff to happen because
Nice.
the goal of it is public speaking and to interact with a crowd and be able to manage how you interact with people, communal,
Hmm.
you know
Hmm.
what I mean, and learning to get out of the punching your fingers on the computer
Hmm.
or the
That's
tablet
right.
or the
Right.
phone or whatever,
Right.
and learn how to talk to people. So that's
Yeah.
that
That's
other
good.
do. So if we got a chance to share that with y'all, boom, at least
Hmm.
we can
Hmm.
give y'all something to look at. And we're doing our next one in March, which will come up in the next week, actually. Next week, Wednesday, we do our next class in another part of Central Massachusetts. It's the Adrian
Nice.
Ford Innovation Center. Adrian is like well, he passed, but he was like the Al Sharpton of the area. He was
Okay.
one that the advocates advocated for. He would be
Hmm.
on,
Hmm.
during the foreclosure crisis. He's helping you, that type of guy. But
Nice. Nice.
so they named the center after him, and we'll be doing the class over there for that. But these are some of the things that we want to share that, sometimes you don't get to share them on those calls because we had a guest speaker,
Hmm.
and the guest speaker takes up the majority of the call.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we got a chance to talk, and I looked up some of the stuff and the work that you were doing, and I appreciated that you were doing it with these young cats. And then I wanted to hear, you were explaining some of it. How does those experiences there translate to here, and you actually had something translate to here that they're using in the BYS system out here, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
dope. How does it feel when you're in hometown? Do you get the same love? Because sometimes people don't get no love in the town they come from.
I do. My work is supported pretty well here. It has not been instituted in institutions in the same way that it is out there. So that's unique to me. The opportunity to have other people sort of expanding on the work, facilitating. Because when I'm here, I'm usually the one doing it. So I haven't done that yet. I haven't done like train the trainer stuff here in Illinois yet. But I'm developing the model out there because that's where the opportunity came. But it is some of that though. I mean, it's just like any other industry, something about the outsider. People like to, there's something unique and fun and special about that. So I'm taking advantage of it while I can.
That's
But
what's up.
there's definitely linkage. I travel a little bit, so all around, everywhere I go, we see some of the same issues, some of the same problems. So this what we doing now, just collaborating, building bridges, just connecting and sharing strategies. I think we got to keep doing this over and over again. So we're gonna win this thing.
What's one of the first experiences that you had in building this working model that you had that you looked at and had to push past and get to the other side of it?
Um, I mean, the first part for me, the first thing that comes to mind when you ask that question is thinking about trying to create something that's innovative, and then taking it seriously is the first step. Because at first it was just a PowerPoint presentation. People would invite me to come talk to those kids in high schools, and what I would feel was the frustration of popping in out of nowhere. They expected me to sort of get an hour and a half with some young people and then leave and then transform their lives,
Hmm.
and it don't work like that. And so after I started to realize that the model itself is broken, that if I come in and even if I get your attention for a moment and I drop some seeds and say something that makes sense, and I'm the only person that you hear say that, or we don't get to develop a relationship, then I walk away. I'm special, and that's not useful. It ain't useful for nobody to be special in a room. This needs to be a commonplace where the men need to gather. We need to have principles and values and direction and instruction and guidance that we leave to the next generation, and it needs to be something that is more structured than individualized. And so that's what made me start to really think about putting the content together in a form that could become a curriculum, a sequence of conversations, and not just a one-time specialized event. And for me not to be the one delivering the content. So when I do it here in Chicago, I'm still in juvenile systems here, and I come in with 5 guys, and it'd be like a bunch of us coming in. They get to watch us agree, disagree. They get to watch us have different perspectives. Um, and so just taking it seriously from the seed of this is interesting to me, and it seems to be impactful with some young people, and then being like, there's a marketplace, there's a canon, if you will, where we are taught theories around healing and theoretical positions, and that I think that there's a lot of us that have really good ideas that need to write about it, to document it, to be a part of the larger conversation about sharing information to the next generation of students, being a part of the training process so that our wisdom, philosophies, values are institutionalized in a larger way than just people get satisfied saying if I could just help one kid. Um, but
Yeah.
we up against again an adversary that's trying to attack thousands, millions at a time. So just the beginning of it was trying to think about scale, trying to think about taking it seriously enough to shop it around, to even and take opportunities that come like they did from Massachusetts. But oh no, this is a thing. It's
Hmm.
not just a hobby. It's not a pet project. It's not something that work every once in a while. But the more we get organized, I think that we can really create the weaponry that we can use and sharpen around the country at least, but maybe even the world to help build a, a argument for having our own philosophies, our own theories, and then being just as credible, if not more, than what you consider to be the evidence-based practices that get a lot of money and the grants and the funding. These grassroots, homegrown, organic, cultural, innovative ideas, we got to take them seriously first so that we can cultivate them and make them, what I'm saying, in the conversation. So for me, that was the beginning. First part was take this seriously, realize this is something that needs to be shared, that needs to be developed, that I need to have some discipline around making it tangible and real for me so that I could share with other people.
And that's a beautiful thing because it sounds like you're into the more of not possessing it for
Yeah, that's
self
right. Right.
glory, that you are actually letting it go and
Right.
release that. And conversations sometimes have to be more of the release. You let some things go so you can receive some things. Like you,
That's true.
Ricky
That's right.
Carter say this thing where he says you got to get rid of the old car that was in the lot to get the new car in. So
Hmm.
sometimes you
Hmm.
got to let like release some of that stuff.
That's real.
And
Yeah.
when you in those spaces and there's releases going on, how do you modulate them? Is there like like the TV show, the movie, and they get the code word like pineapple or something. Like you, is there something that you guys put into your dynamic to like to break it to like if there's some things going on to like a safe word. That's what I meant to say. Like a safe word to like bring everybody back.
Um, no, not really. I think that the success of conversations in general, or with the content that I've developed, really depend on the savvy, the skill of a facilitator. I don't think that anybody needs to be in front of young people. Just because you got a good heart, because you care, I don't think that means you got the skill and have developed the ability to read the room, to look for moments when you might need to pull back or push forward, and to get people to chew on things for a little while, to sit in the awkward silences. And so, to the point you were making earlier around provocative and what that means, I do think there's a lot of space for discomfort in the growth process. And so, but I also think that there are breaking points around, just like, if people are not ready, we talk about children still. So there's a developmental appropriate to some of this. And so for me, it's really just about being present. When I think about the use of my curriculum as it is, I never intended it to be a manual where you're reading a script and you go step by step and this is what you're supposed to do. It's much more of a toolkit or a guide that requires the person to be in the room to be fully engaged. But that also means you got to do your own work first as a facilitator to know what your safe word, your safe space is, where your boundaries are. You have to have done your own reflective work to make sure that whatever might trigger you in the conversation don't interrupt your ability to hold the space and to allow it to be a container for what the young people need. So a lot of that is the prep work that makes it so that in the actual real conversations, if a safety concern comes up, you can be aware of it, and then you can kind of like just pivot if you need, or just massage a moment, and or sit with the discomfort if that's what you need to sit with. Um, but I don't really think about this as group therapy. It's kind of just, it's better in institutions where if something comes up, where somebody needs to step out and relieve themselves, or go in the corner and write, or just take some breaths, or get a referral to somebody else that can help them process something deeper. All those dynamics, all those pieces are important because it's got to be a teamwork effort for real success. There's got to be a bunch of people involved that can make sure our young people are taken care of.
Tell the people how they can connect with you. What is your handles, your social media, so people could catch up soon?
I'm on Instagram at O Cartman One. I'm on Facebook too. Just my name, pull it up.
Mhm.
The website, drobaricartman.com. Those are probably the easiest ways.
Okay. We're definitely going to have the people connect with you and to just, shout you out to let them know that you are not just a person in the shy, but you can, you have cross borders and your program has stretched and you have legs with it because I'm sure you're not going to end it with just the opportunity here that position yourself for Massachusetts. You know,
Hmm.
could be some other areas that, this program that you are, set up can actually get some more legs and run maybe down to CT, Connecticut, where you
Hmm.
might have an opportunity. So we definitely want to extend any, good wishes and good fortunes towards your way.
I
And
appreciate that.
yeah, we don't want this to be the last conversation. I'm gonna see if we could get a couple of brothers in here. Maybe we could have a conversation from the shy to mass, and we could just talk about some of the things that maybe we need to have a release for, and maybe that could be a conversation guided by something that we come up with, and maybe bring it to the people and share some more ways to dialogue with people and ways to communicate. It was just a thought that I just had in having a conversation with you, and you know,
Hmm.
it's something that could be fruitful down the line. So, you know,
I'm with that.
plant that seed.
Yeah, all for it.
That's what's up. Um, Talk about anything you want to part with. We got a couple of minutes left. What would you want people to understand about Dr. Obari Cartman and what he's doing in the Shy and how this has affected Black people and especially those who are going through some kinds of trauma?
I mean, it's a final statement around just the moment we in. Um, isn't so much about sort of me. I see myself as a product of an environment. Um, I remember I was probably around 20 something. When you're young, you think you're special because whatever the things you went to, you think everybody else listened to the music you listened to or got the skills you got. But it took me to be a full grown adult before I realized that everything that I thought was unique about me, I could attribute to either one of my parents. And so I play drum, play djembe, I just play trumpet. I'm a photographer, I'm a writer. All the stuff that I do, one of my parents exposed me to, or they did themselves, and so I just inherited it. I came up in Chicago in a rich community of artists and cultural workers and freedom fighters, and my dad took me to stuff. My mama took me to her stuff, and I'm taking my kids. I got two boys right now. I'm just taking them to the stuff that my parents took me to. I didn't even have to discover it. I was just born into a world that cultivated me and protected me and gave me some stuff that I feel like I can share with other people. But it ain't because I found it. It's just because I just happened to be born in this house. And so I believe very much in the product of the environment, transmission of culture. I believe that whatever some other man is doing, whether he in a White House or wherever he at, it's just he's just another dude just making decisions to protect his own people. And I believe we can do that. We have a right to do it. I think that if we follow in the leadership of our present administration, I think we should do that with some boldness. I think that's instead of complaining about what they're doing, we should match their audacity and really create the environments for our young people to give them the nurturing and the guidance and the information that they need. And if you didn't get it, you know what I'm saying, as you grow up, you can't blame nobody for not having it. We got the faculties to be able to go find that. We got technology to be able to learn anything we need to learn. We just need to develop the willpower, the discipline, and the community support to really just create the solutions to all the problems that we know we're facing right now. And ain't nobody more equipped than Black folk to do that. Ain't nobody got the internal fortitude and connection to the DNA and the deep well of rich wisdom that we come from to be able to just survive, thrive, expand, reinvent, transform anything that come our way. And so, that's what the work is for me. I'm a vessel for a moment to share what comes to me. I'm gonna be gone when I'm gone, and there's gonna be another generation with a better opportunity to do it than I ever was able to. As long as we're doing what we're supposed to do right now. So, if there's anything to know about me, I'm trying to do my part. I'm just trying to use the opportunities and gifts that were given to me from my parents and my community to pass it forward, to continue the rich legacy of our ancestors who have given us a blueprint for how to be human how to teach the rest of the humans on this planet right now that we are the parents of, how to get it back in their right order. But we got to do that first. We just got to be kinder to each other and take this stuff more seriously and pay attention and activate that genius that's within all of us. And so if I can be a part of helping people extract that from themselves and to remove the distractions from being able to see that, then that's the work that I'm here for. And if anybody interested in collaborating and, you know, want to, put our heads, hearts, and minds together, I'm always for that.
That's what's up, man. And we're gonna leave it like there, man. And I like the emphasis on bold and doing things, you know, being aggressive with it, because as you said in the current administration, this present time, there's a lot of boldness and a lot of aggressiveness going on, and it's not bad to match it. You know what I mean? It's not passive right about now. So, thank you for that. I don't want to call it a soliloquy, but it was a nice way to got going on, because you definitely laid some tracks for people to hopefully they'll ride this train over, and hopefully we'll next stop Dr. Obari Cartman. You know what I mean? So we
Love
want to
it.
thank you, man, and thank you for taking the time out your evening to be a part of what we got going on here. So
Anytime, my brother.
no
Anytime.
doubt, man. Have a great night, and we look forward to talking more with you.